Fabulous Engineering Limited, Zambia's largest and most advanced modern engineering company. We provide superior engineering solutions of any scale and are committed to delivering highly professional and comprehensive service to our customers, ensuring complete satisfaction. We are unaffected by power cut as we have installed 2 high-capacity generators. This guarantees round-the-clock efficiency. FAIR boasts of unique and exclusive machineries such as lathe, universal boring and milling, internal slotting, surface grinder, shaping, radial drilling, heat treatment furnace for hardening, shutter manufacturing, ducting pipe manufacturing, rolling, plate banding, hydraulic press, plasma cutting machines, fuel pump testing bench, injector testing machine, hydraulic pipe clamping machine, hydraulic pipe fitting, and many more. We are manufacturing specialists of shop shutters and ducting pipes. We also offer the following services: maintenance and repair and on-site support. Call us on 0955 764 011, 0979 698 382 or 0969 064 419. Email info@fabulousengineering.com. We are located at plot number 7204 Kachiza Road, Light Industrial Area in Lusaka. Fabulous Engineering Limited, Zambia's largest and most advanced engineering company.
It's a lovely evening and a warm welcome to Camnet Television, Camnet TV, not just another channel. And other news headlines. President Lungu wants 50-50 women participation. Mao Sampa in assault allegations, police. Government's move on foreign debt advisors supported Kabaso. 20 UPND officials nabbed. And finally, in international news, Brexit 4th round talks on. We now take a break. We'll be back shortly for more news. After this, keep watching.
I've always been passionate about moving forward as fast as I could. Even as a child, all I ever wanted was to take first place at everything I could work towards. Whether I'm on the track or in the lecture room, my goal is to come out on top.
Growing up, we were always called Mafasho. You could say this paved the way for who we would become. We owe our success to our understanding of the power of storytelling, understanding what people connect to in order to give them what they desire.
We have always been passionate about people and honoring their stories. Our learning experience gave us the knowledge to channel our creativity into a business.
In order to start any successful journey, we must have a place to start. Even if that means we keep our mental image in focus as we become the inevitable solution to society's inevitable problems.
Which is why we all start our journey here.
You're still watching Camnet TV. Camnet, not just another channel. We continue with the rest of the news. President Lungu has said that the PF wants to achieve a 50-50 women representation in the 2021 elections. The president added that Zambia is a member of the SADC and that Zambia has begun to set the standards for women participation in leadership. Lungu recently said this in Kasempa when he addressed PF officials. Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development, UPND, has assured Zambians that the party is non-dictatorial as it is gender-balanced. Party National Deputy Information and Publicity Secretary Cindy Kauka has announced that women in the party are fully participating in leadership positions and the decision-making process has privileged by the party president Hakainde Hichilema, refuting perceptions that women in politics are only used as tools for violence. Kauka has charged that UPND will continue to involve more women even in 2021. Here's a report.
I'm here just to let the nation know the strength of the gender issues in our party. Our party, UPND, is a political party which is gender balanced. You know, we've had women participating fully in positions. Our women have been participating fully in all positions of UPND, which shows how good the party is and how strong UPND is. You know, we can assure you that President Hakainde Hichilema is one man who is not a dictator. He's one president who allows our women to participate. I can give you an example. My name is Cindy Kauka. I'm Deputy National IPS for the youths. I'm a woman. And we have our National Deputy Chairperson, Subeta Mtelo. We have our Chairperson, Mutale Narumango, our Mobilization Chairperson, Sylvia Masebo. Very qualitable women participating in our political party. You know, our party is not a dictatorial political party. It's a party which gives freedom to everybody to participate, including the youths. We are here as youths, participating equally. We are here as women, participating equally. You know, we have the Kawikus. We have MPs like Chushi Kasanda. We have Princess Kasune. We have Miriam Chonya. All those are women. It's a gender-balanced political party. And we can assure you that in 2021, everybody will be free to participate equally.
In other news, the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection in Zambia, JCTR, has observed that women participation in a decision-making process is not adequately implemented. JCTR Programs Manager Faith and Justice Innocent Ndashe says women in politics are mainly used as tools for violence. Mr. Ndashe has charged that the country in enhancing women participation in decision-making process is still lagging behind due to various setbacks that include culture and religion. Mr. Ndashe has stressed the importance of support towards women instead of pulling them down. Despite the evidence that women can lead, the presence of women in decision-making positions, be it in their homes, churches, or workplaces, is still minimal. The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, has noted that in many African countries, this challenge can be attributed to cultures and religions that have long treated women as property.
They have been left behind. Their value as human persons, I think it hasn't been cherished, and this is something that we need to garden. I think it could be the faith factors like ourselves, but also I think government has a critical role in also complementing with other actors to ensure that I think there is need to sensitize more people to change the mindset.
The emphasis on this belief has largely placed women on the roles of always coming second. JCTR Programs Manager Faith and Justice Innocent Ndashe has observed that the deliberate perpetuation of this perception can be seen by Zambia's current spirituality that has emphasized marriage and fertility at the expense of career development for women.
Because if we ensure that women take active participation in decision making at the micro level, which is the household level, but also at the macro level, which is the community and national level, I think even Zambia's, I think, potential or opportunity to achieve, to address poverty will actually be enlarged.
Women, on the other hand, who hold on to the beliefs regarding how all women ought to carry themselves in public, have made it difficult for their fellow goal-oriented women to excel. It has also been observed that women who voice out amidst men and women are initially perceived as less cultured, thereby being exposed to ridicule. Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga. The Republican Progressive Party, RPP, has charged that the move by government to take over Copperbelt Energy Corporation and the increased load-shedding hours are worse than what Copperbelt residents expect. Party President James Lukuku has noted that Zambians are suffering from high electricity tariffs and has since claimed that ZESCO has been run without transparency under the Patriotic Front government and that the country is risk having civil discontent. Mr. Lukuku further adds that Zambia keeps exporting electricity and it is torture for Zambians. Meanwhile, the opposition party leader has said that it is government's responsibility to listen to its people, adding that government seems to always be in favor of foreigners and that is why it does not act when people complain.
Straightforward is there is no truth regarding how ZESCO is run. We don't have any truth whatsoever regarding how ZESCO is run, because you are going to remember with me that all of what has been said about the management of ZESCO hasn't been true. We've been craving to say there have been no rain, there have not been sufficient rains, but God gave us rains. Then it's not explained why the Kariba should not have no water. And there is a lot of excuses that ZESCO have given, because they were saying that because of the restructurings and everything that they did regarding management of ZESCO, it was going to translate in low tariff for the people. But the opposite has been the case. Yes, quite right, we understand that phone calls have come to me, a lot of my relatives, a lot of our friends, a lot of our people that know us, they have complained because of the units that they got, especially starting from the 1st of June. It is evident we have lost. Electricity has become expensive. When you look at the issue of CEC, that is the Copperbelt Energy Corporation, they are saying if we are spending too much on the CEC, then it's difficult for us to have low tariffs for electricity. But when they have grabbed CEC, again, electricity tariff, the units that we are getting is not something that is in conformity with what we are expecting.
We now take a break.
Savenda General Insurance Limited is a young and vibrant insurance company that is focused on changing the outlook of the insurance landscape.
At Savenda General Insurance, we believe in a quick settlement of claims because we believe the customer is the reason why we exist.
Such living proof motivates us to know that you can count on us to actually be there for you in times of need.
We have been able to pay claims of about 14 million kwacha.
Savenda General Insurance Limited offers aviation, agriculture, marine, fire, motor vehicle, engineering and construction, and miscellaneous insurance.
Come and see what we're able to offer, what we can do. You will never be disappointed because we are here for you.
For further details, call us on 0211 250 278 or 0955 555744.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crispy, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda okuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest ina reverse gear na mawaipa.
Difficult tidi ashiria njinga. Liam 19 pendefcon. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Indemoni! Powerful system ndimba ndimba. X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bigron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose nshichinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
The Lusaka City Council has given some bars and nightclubs a 24-hour ultimatum to show cause why their licenses should not be revoked for not contravening public health guidelines. According to a statement availed to the media, LCC Public Relations Manager George Sichimba says in investigations and a video footage, it has been established that Chicago's management over the weekend allowed their premises at East Park to operate as a bar and nightclub, and unsatisfactory practice of non-social distancing. Recently, there has been reports that some bars operating outside government guidelines, especially those belonging to foreign nationals. More in the following report.
Local bars and nightclubs adhered to the presidential directive of closing until further notice due to the coronavirus. Some nightclubs and bars are operating while disguising themselves as restaurants, one of which is Chicago's. Now, the local authorities have decided to pounce on Chicago's management by giving them a 24-hour ultimatum to show cause why their license should not be revoked for contravening public health guidelines. According to a statement availed to the media, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager George Sichimba says based on LCC investigations and video footage, it has been established that Chicago's management over the weekend allowed their premises to operate as a bar and a nightclub and unsatisfactory practice of social distancing. The violations contravene the provisions of the statutory instrument number 21 and 22 of 2020, made under the Public Health Act Cap 295 of the laws of Zambia. These premises were found wanting during routine inspections conducted by public health inspectors to ascertain compliance with public health guidelines during the night of the 9th of May 2020. Camnet TV News, Lusaka, Zambia.
Police have instituted investigations in a matter in which Lusaka Mayor Malsampa has been alleged to have assaulted the Lusaka Memorial Park General Manager Lawrence Nsompa. Police spokesperson Esther Katongo told Camnet Television this afternoon that her office has received a complaint of assault from the 34-year-old named manager, a resident of Charleston Green. Mr. Sompa claims he sustained a swollen forehead and bruises on the forehead and has since been issued with a medical report. And Mrs. Katongo has also confirmed that police have received a report of criminal trespass from Mr. Malsampa, who alleged that the 6 people went to his home and harassed his workers. And according to a video trending on social media, Mr. Sampa is seen holding a stick while intruders leave his house while pounding on them.
Today marks exactly 6 days since Lusaka Mayor Mao Sampa was made to publicly apologize to the Chinese community for using strong words and for closing down a Chinese restaurant without following the right procedure. The Lusaka Mayor has once again made headline, but this time in an assault allegation.
Leave him. Don't repeat. Don't come to my house. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are still talking. You are still talking. I'm the one.
And when contacted for a comment, police spokesperson Esther Katongo had this to say.
Or the general manager at Memorial Park?
Yes, that he was appointed by Mr. Mao. That's according to the allegation which is there. So he was issued with a medical report. And then as police, we've instituted investigations in the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, now in the video, Mr. Miles was saying, "Get out of my house." Does it mean he was followed at his place?
Yes, it happened at his house, according to the report which we got. But it happened at Mr. Mao's house, but we don't have the full details yet, because our officers are now investigating the same. We'll only be able to get what transpired when all parties involved are interviewed.
Prudence Jota for Camnet TV.
Capital Market Association of Zambia President Nicholas Kawaso says Zambia is not the first country to engage a foreign firm as its financial advisor. Mr. Kabaso says the expertise that Lazard Fair will offer the country cannot be compared to the $5 million that government will pay the firm considering the debt levels and urge balance sheets. The firm will have to be analyzed. We have more in this report.
Is this the first time that Zambia is engaging a financial advisor to manage its debt portfolio? Is the question that everyone should be asking. It is important to note that until 2018, Zambia retained 2 commercial banks to provide advisory services on any asset liability exercise on its debt portfolio. Despite the engaging of 2 named commercial banks, the stock of the country's external debt stands at 11.2 billion United States dollars, equivalent to about 210 trillion kwacha. Meanwhile, the stock of government securities at end 2019 was 80.2 billion kwacha, while the stock of domestic arrears, excluding VAT, amounted to 26.2 billion as at end of September 2019. In total, the country's total debt stands at around 316 trillion kwacha. Putting all this information into consideration, who, what, when, where, how, does not seem to be a problem, but finding the solution to the debt burden is key to solving the current economic challenges.
What our position as a Capital Markets Association is on the hiring in of Lazard Ferrez to be the financial advisors to the debt restructuring for the government is that it's a welcome move. The beauty that we have in this particular instance for us as a country is that this particular service is being offered over about a 3-year period. So we've got a bit of some latitude in terms of getting to help us to minimize or get to see the impact not being so much heavily felt in the first year because the services will be spread across. And then the other thing that also we need to be very mindful of, even as we are looking at how this contractual service is going to be done by Lazard, there are a lot of other obligations that Lazard is going to be doing, and some of them will be met by themselves ahead of the fee being paid. So again, if we have to look at some of the nitty-gritties of complaints coming through from most market players of why didn't they consider us first, the consideration obviously of the cost in terms of you being able to meet the cost yourself ahead of you being paid the $3 million, the $5 million, again, is something that we need to be very cognizant of, that we may not necessarily be able to do. And if we have to look at also the nature of networking and dialogue that was going to be is involved in us being able to meet various counterparties to just merely be able to discuss this sort of debt restructure, it involves quite a lot of cost implications. And I think going to Lazard the way we have done probably gives us that sort of leverage for us to be able to make use of their experience, make use of their profitability, and make use of their huge expertise to be able to restructure this debt without necessarily stressing us in the short to medium term. We had Greece just recently in the news. They almost went down the route we are almost going now. We have got Argentina, we have got Mozambique, and many other countries that have had similar sort of engagement at this level with Lazard.
With many critiques concerning the engaging of a foreign firm and paying huge sums of money for its services, what then could have been done differently to ensure that local financial advisors benefit from those with much experience?
What could have been done differently, which obviously is our position also as a market, is that there could have obviously been considerations to get to see whether market players can work alongside some of these international players like Lazard. And I think in talking about that, we're looking at maybe a syndicate of local, financial advisory firms in Zambia, being partnered or being, syndicated or, attached to some of these international firms, because that way we will then be able to allow for skills transfer. We also allow for proper, profiling of some of these individual financial advisory firms here in Zambia.
Prudence Jota for Camnet TV in Lusaka.
Zambia Revenue Authority has commenced an audit on public benefit organizations based on tax compliance reasons. The move to do a check-up compliance and monitor non-profit organization has been prompted by a saddening exploitation of the duty-free purchased items by some public benefit organizations. We have more in this report.
Zambia Revenue Authority received reports that some public benefit organizations have been misusing the privilege of purchasing duty-free items. In an interview with Corporate Communications Manager, Mr. Topsy Sikalinda stated that it's very saddening to notice some of these non-tax paying organizations exploiting the privilege granted by the state. He further mentioned that all processing of rebates for public benefit organizations will be suspended to allow transparency while the auditing goes on.
The Zambia Revenue Authority has started a compliance audit on all public benefit organizations in Zambia. As you are aware, we have about 350 public benefit organizations that are approved by the Ministry of Finance and the Zambia Revenue Authority. And now what we're doing is that we are doing a compliance audit on them. And as we do this compliance audit, what we've done is to suspend their processing of rebates or the tip-ins for processing of rebates. And what I need to clarify here is that the law still stands. The law has not been changed, or the law has not been revoked, or the law has not been suspended. Everything still stands the way it is. The only thing we have done is that for an institution to, for us to process these rebates for any public benefit organization, we first have to do a compliance audit on that particular public benefit organization. It is with sadness that as an authority, we have seen in the recent past that a number of public benefit organizations, orphanages for instance, NGOs and many others, have been in the habit of importing posh vehicles. We want to go and do a visit to these orphanages and understand how this posh vehicle is being used at that orphanage. We have seen, for instance, situations where various materials have been brought in, for instance, second-hand clothing, in the name that they're going to this public benefit organization or this orphanage. We only hope that we don't have situations where these things have been installed at people's homes, but they were brought in tax-free, they did not pay any taxes. So we don't have a problem in bringing in whatever you want to bring. Please feel free to bring in. But if you are going to bring in items, you pay the taxes. Do not bring in items in the name of an orphanage, in the name of a public benefit organization, when those goods are meant for your personal gain and not meant for these orphanages you claim to be representing. This is what we are doing. It's simply a compliance check to ensure that the people who they claim to be providing or bringing in these services for get the benefit of these services.
Mr. Sikalinda has charged all public benefit organizations to comply with the law and work within the precepts of the law. Reporting for Camnet Television, Tennyson Kaunda in Lusaka.
The Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, says it has completed its detailed review of the 110 kwacha buying price per 50 kg bag of maize, which the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, is offering to farmers for the 2019-2020 farming season. PEP President Sean Tembo says the party's considered view is that the FRA buying price of 110 is appropriate under the circumstances, taking into consideration all competing variables. Tembo says that those advocating for a higher FRA buying price should explain how the adverse impact on the retail price of mealie meal will be mitigated. Here is a report.
As Patriots for Economic Progress, we have completed our detailed review of the price which has been offered by the Food Reserve Agency to purchase maize, a 50 kg bag of maize, which is 110 kwacha. And our view is that there are a number of competing variables when coming up with the appropriate price to buy maize from farmers. On the one hand, it is worth noting that farmers deserve a decent return and profit on their hard work and investment. So that variable needs to be addressed. And yet, on the other hand, there is need to ensure that the price of mealie meal is maintained at reasonable levels so that the masses can be able to afford to buy a bag of mealie meal. And so, in our view, bearing into consideration these two key competing and yet equally important variables, a price of 110 kwacha is a fair and equitable price. And we believe that those who are advocating for a higher price need to justify how the higher price of mealie meal, which will come about, is going to be mitigated in their proposals. Thank you.
ZRA has announced that Nakonde and Chirundu border posts will operate for 24 hours for the next 7 days, effective today, in a bid to speed up operations at the two border posts. Meanwhile, ZRA's corporate communications manager, Topsy Sikalinda, has confirmed that ZRA has recruited 150 officers who will report to their various posts next week on Monday.
Well, in consultation with other revenue authorities in the region, particularly Zimbabwe and Tanzania, the Zambia Revenue Authority will, with immediate effect, start operating Chirundu and Nakonde border post 24/7 for the next 1 week. As you are aware, Nakonde has already been on 24/7, but during COVID there was that shutdown, and we are resuming to ensure that we clear all the traffic that is there. The authority is also working with other government departments within the country. These are immigration, ZAMRA, and many others that are border agencies, to ensure that this is done smoothly. This will also help us reduce the amount of traffic in these areas and reduce the cost of doing business for all importers and exporters, and also our clearing agents in these borders. The authority would like to encourage all importers, exporters, and clearing agents to take advantage of our e-platforms to ensure that they make all their entries as soon as possible from anywhere within the world. As you know, the system is online, it's web-based, and you access it anywhere, whether in Zambia, in Europe, or anywhere else. The authority has further employed 150 new staff to ensure that we help in clearing this backlog. And these staff are against the background of the approved numbers of staff that was approved by the Ministry of Finance, that we increase our headcount by 150.
UPND officials have been arrested over secret elections. 20 officials of the United Party for National Development, UPND, have been arrested in Chiwempela on Copperbelt on charges of unlawful assembly. According to Gilbert Liswaniso, the UPND National Deputy Youth Chairman in charge of politics, said that the 20 officials were found having inter-party elections without obtaining a police permit. We have more in this report.
20 United Party for National Development UPND officials have been arrested and detained at Chiwempala Police Station in Chingola District on the Copperbelt after they held inter-party elections without obtaining permission from the police. Confirming the incident is Copperbelt Police Commissioner Charity Katanga. Ms. Katanga says the police on the Copperbelt were tipped off over the meetings which were being held by some UPND officials on the 1st of June 2020, and 20 of the party officials were arrested and charged of unlawful assembly. Ms. Katanga confirmed this development to Camnet News in a phone call interview.
20 have been apprehended, 2 females and 18 males.
Okay.
The police received a tip-off from a member of the public that suspected UPND cadres were having an illegal meeting at Kian Guest House in Chiwempala. This occurred yesterday, 1st June 2020, around 2024 at Kian Guest House in Chingola. Police went there and found 20 UPND party members having an unlawful assembly. So we have those 20.
However, UPND National Youth Chairman in charge of politics Gilbert Liswaniso says the intimidation from the police and the ruling Patriotic Front PF will not stop the opposition from holding inter-party elections.
Of us, we are aware that the police and the PF has been scheming. Number one, to register UPND. And all of us, we know that it's a constitutional matter that before general election, all political parties should go to intra-party election, which the UPND is doing. But unfortunately, the police and the PF are scheming. But so far, so good. Most of our election have been done in all the constituencies, all the wards. We are doing that quietly. Even when the police, they know. They want to tell us about the COVID-19. You saw that last week, even our SG and election Chairman Garin Combo, they went to the Home Affairs Committee to sit down to find an alternative where the UPN should have their own inter-party election, but the police are doing deliberately. But I want to say it very clear to them that no matter what they will do, the PF and the police, us will continue. If they're going to arrest us, let them continue arresting us, but us will continue having these inter-party election. Inter-party election are very important constitutional matter. Does not affect even the police. But because you know that in Copper Belt, we have a Katankalas Commission of Police with Charity Katanga. And that is their behavior, because for us we call it a provincial chairman for Copper Belt. It's like here in Lusaka, we have a provincial chairman, Nelson Zuru. And we also have a national chairman for the PF, who is Kanganja. For simple things, constitutional matter, leave them, we do our election. As I speak to you, in Narikwanda, there are by-election. People are meeting, people are talking to each other, people are campaigning. What is so difficult for us as UPND?
Liswaniso also appealed to the youths of the United Party for National Development UPND across the country to desist from violence.
I want to appeal to the youths of the UPND across the country. I don't want to see any indiscipline in this intra-party election. If you are going to find one thing, the door will be open for you. We need numbers, yes. We need everybody on the board. But if you are going to bring indiscipline in UPND, there is sanity, there is discipline, there is nothing to do with violence. I think on that one you should know. As I speak to you as chairman political, I want to emphasize to the UPNs across the country. If you're going to find one thing in these elections, inter-party election, that you are misbehaving, you are bringing violence, you are disturbing, the door will be open for you. We'll tell you, go and sit home.
Camnet News, Lusaka, Zambia.
A bus driver has run away after causing an accident at Greatest Road Flyover Bridge near Cabo Roundabout in Lusaka, Zambia's capital city, around 14 hours today. The collision involved a highest bus number plate ALG 7914, a Volkswagen, and a van. 2 juveniles were seen in one of the vehicles involved in the accident. No fatalities were recorded as police arrived at the scene an hour later. More in this report.
An accident survivor has expressed concern over the reckless driving done by a bus driver, as he says he almost lost his life this afternoon as a driver who was driving a Hiace with number plate ALG 7914 lost control and hit into a town ice with number plate ALG 553 due to overspeeding.
So kupeza kuti uyu wa bus as a speed panokuti midifuta panga mistake afuna kuti abute nyotoka so twamukalipinga so pamene twabwera pano wabwera kumenya muri motoka after amenya muri motoka afuna kuti atale na kwenda kumenya muri bamudala afuti so de pamene twamba kuserukira mu mawindo mose twaseruka basi
The bus driver is reported to have run away immediately. He heard the other drivers mention the word police.
We are
hoping the police to come as soon as possible. We were just behind. What I heard, it was just a bang behind me.
The accident happened on the flyover bridge of Great East Road in the capital city of Lusaka. This is the man who was driving the town ice. He suspects the bus driver was overspeeding as he lost control and hit in his vehicle from behind. However, even after calling the police, it took them about an hour just to arrive at the scene.
45 minutes. That's the center of business town. Officers were not nowhere to be found.
Camnet TV News, Lusaka, Zambia.
And in news around Africa, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni says his country will lose $1.6 billion a year in earning from tourism as visitors stay away due to the impact of the coronavirus. The president did not say what time frame he was referring to. According to data from the country's statistics office shows Uganda earned $2 billion from tourism activities in 2017, up from $1.7 billion the previous year. The International Monetary Fund says last month Uganda's tourism earnings were expected to fall at 54% in 2019-2020 fiscal year and expected to decline to 52% in the next year. Museveni also says his economy will also lose a substantial chunk of the $1.3 billion sent home each year by Ugandan working abroad, as many would be out of work due to the global economic downturn following the pandemic. Uganda has so far recorded 458 cases of COVID-19 with no deaths reported. Zimbabwean farmers have described how the coronavirus pandemic is eating into a vital cash crop, tobacco, that country's second income earner. We have more in this report by Al Jazeera.
Julius Mutatariki isn't having much luck with his tobacco. After more than 15 years of farming, he's only managed to grow 1 hectare this season. He blames years of drought and now the coronavirus pandemic that's led to lockdowns and travel restrictions.
We can only send one person to the auction floors to sell for us, even if we are not happy with the price. We can't argue with him because we were not there to negotiate prices for ourselves.
Tobacco is Zimbabwe's second biggest foreign currency earner after gold. Last year, the country earned nearly $800 million, exporting mainly to China and Europe. Now, because of COVID-19, international buyers can no longer get here. Zimbabwe was already in an economic crisis long before the pandemic. Its debt arrears means the government can't borrow enough money from foreign lenders for a bailout. Many of those lenders lack confidence in the political leadership.
We now take our final commercial break. Keep watching.
The Cowbell Choco formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs.
Tasting Cowbell Choco gives you the get up and go to be at the top of your game. Now with Vitalrich Plus Iron. Great tasting Cowbell Choco, a creamy chocolatey drink that helps give energy to get up and go.
Super Cereal! We always start our day with nutritious Super Cereal. It's so easy to make. Just add hot water or milk. Fortified with essential vitamins, gives you energy and keeps you alert. Super Cereal is so good for you. Comes in 3 yummy flavors: original, banana, and strawberry, and tastes so good.
Easy Super Cereal is made from non-GMO maize and soya and is good for the whole family. Found in all leading stores.
Super Cereal.
Quick and easy.
Tastes delicious. Super Cereal. Full of goodness.
Makes you stronger.
Super Cereal.
Easy Super Cereal. Brought to you by Java Foods.
In international news, the European Union and the United Kingdom have kicked off 4th round of talks on a post-Brexit trade deal and other aspects of their future relations. The 4-day negotiations by video conference began on Tuesday, with officials trying to make headway after the last 3 rounds yielded little progress. The UK formally left the bloc on January 31, 2020, after a slim majority voted for the Brexit in 2016 referendum. Little has changed in practice during a planned 11-month transition period. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has promised not to extend this period despite a lack of progress in talks that have been overshadowed by the coronavirus crisis. The end of June is the deadline for the UK to ask for more time for talks, and both sides are due to take stock of the progress so far. In sports news, a Zambian golfer, Jahavi Walia, has the difference of progression between American golf and the Zambian golf and has advised on ways it can be made better.
Well, the difference between here and the States, first of all, is their development programs. It's so much more intense. They have junior leagues in high schools that builds up for future golfers in college. And here we don't really even have a college base or a junior league. We just have like maybe 3-4 tournaments a year, whereas there it's throughout the year. There's like billions probably of tournaments. And like Florida has academies, like golf academies set up to build their students up to a college level and get them into a college or to a professional level. Here we don't, like, I played with the ladies and the junior section, and the ladies here are not as competitive as in the US. So you find like 10-year-old girls already qualifying for the US Women's Open, and here we don't even have a Women's Professional Open. So like that just shows that we don't really have that base for us to build up towards a professional level. If we want to build up to a professional level, we want to travel outside the country, which shouldn't really be the case.
Well, viewers, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the top stories. President Lungu wants 50-50 women participation. Mao Sampa in assault allegations. Police. Government's move on foreign debt advisors supported Cavasso. 20 UPND officials nabbed. Brexit fourth round talks on. And now the verse of the day comes from the book of Psalms 9 verse 9. The Bible says, "The Lord also will be the refuge and a stronghold for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble." This has been Camnet Television News, not just another channel. This has been Namwenga Mwenga. Until next time, good evening and God bless you.